Today, I have a 1-hour English grammar masterclass for you to help you progress from beginner to advanced by the end of this lesson. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now, let's get started. First, in this masterclass, let's find out what your English level is. Are you more of a C1 pure beginner, B2 upper intermediate, or C2 the most advanced? Because once you know your level, you understand what areas you need to improve to progress and improve your fluency. So let's test your English level right now. Question 1, she to the store yesterday. Now, I'll only give you 3 seconds to answer, so if you need more time, hit pause, and when you're ready to see the answer, hit play. She went to the store yesterday. Yesterday is a key word for the past simple, and went is the past simple of the verb to go. Question 2, we, students. We are students. For this, you need to know the verb conjugations for the verb to be in the present simple. I am, you are, he, she, it is, and we and they are. Question 3, which word means the opposite of happy? Sad. You knew that one, right? Question 4, which sentence is correct? He doesn't like coffee. Here, you need to know the sentence structure for negative sentences in the present simple. The sentence structure is subject, and then you need do or does as your auxiliary verb, not, and the base verb. The subjects I, you, we, and they use do not. As a contraction, it's don't. And the subjects he, she, it uses does not, and the contraction is doesn't. So did you pass the A1 level? Share your score in the comments and let's continue with A2. She usually the bus to work. Takes. Usually is a key word for the present simple, and with the subjects he, she, it, you need to add an S or ES to your base verb to form the present simple. Question 2, what is the past simple of the verb to eat? Ate, ate. So notice that to eat is an irregular verb. Question 3, that book is mine. That book is mine. Mine is the possessive to show ownership for the subject I. I possess that book. That book is mine. Question 4, this movie is, then that one. More interesting. There are 2 structures for forming comparatives. For a 1-syllable word, you have the word plus ER, smart, smarter. But for longer words, 3-syllable words, you have more and the word, more interesting. Did you pass the A2 level? Share your score and let's continue on with the B1 level. Question 1. Which sentence is in the present perfect verb tense? I have gone to the market. For the present perfect, we need the subject, have or has, and the past participle. Our verb here is to go, and the conjugations are go, went in the past simple, and gone in the participle. Question 2, what does the expression break the ice mean? It means to start a conversation in a social setting. Remember that expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs, they don't have literal meaning, so you have to memorize what they mean. For example, let's play a game to break the ice. Question 3, she has a for learning languages. She has a talent for learning languages. This option is correct because it's the only definition that makes sense, and also the sentence structure, you have a talent for something. So that sentence structure is correct with talent. Question 4, Peter, that movie 3 times so far. Has seen. So far means it's an unfinished time reference, and we use the present perfect has seen with unfinished time references. So did you pass the B1 level? Share your score and let's continue on to B2. Question 1, The Cake by Mary was baked. This is the passive voice, and was baked is the past tense of to be baked. Question 2, which word is a synonym for confidential? Secret. You could say that document is confidential, which means it's secret. It's not public, it's not open. And revealing, that means you share more information than expected. But since it's confidential, secret, we don't know if the document is revealing. Question 3, I can't put with his behavior anymore. Put up with. This is a phrasal verb. To put up with something or someone is when you tolerate, so accept, negative behavior. And this is the only option that fits the context and the sentence structure. Question 4, if it, tomorrow, we won't go to the beach. Rains. This is the conditional. You need if plus present simple, and your next clause is in the future simple. So did you make it to B2? Share your score and let's move on to the advanced level, C1. Question 1, identify the correct reported speech. She said, I will come later. She said that she would come later. For reported speech, indirect speech, will becomes would. Question 2, we have the budget, we'll pay for your training. Therefore. Therefore is a transition word. It's used to show cause, we have the budget, and effect. The effect is, we'll pay for your training. Question 3, what does the idiom to hit the nail on the head mean? This means to describe something perfectly. And if you watched my lesson last week on idioms, you would know this because I taught it. For example, you hit the nail on the head with your analysis. Your analysis described the situation perfectly. Question 4, you'll regret the conference. Missing. Regret is a gerund verb, so you need the verb plus your gerund. Regret, missing. Verb plus ing. So did you pass the C1 level? Share your score and let's continue to the most advanced C2 level. Question 1, her speech had a profound on the audience. Effect. Effect is a verb. Effect is a noun. You could use the verb, but you would have to change the sentence to her speech affected the audience. Question 2, which course would you recommend to me? Don't forget that too, because you recommend something, the course, to someone. Now you can also simply recommend something. Which course would you recommend? Which course would you recommend to me? Both of those are correct. Question 3, if I, you, I would do the same. If I were you, I were you. Because this is the present conditional, which is used for hypotheticals. And we use were for all subjects in the conditional. And finally, question 4, Jane, Tom can come to the party. Neither Jane nor Tom can come to the party. And this means they aren't coming to the party. So we use neither nor for negative. You could say either Jane or Tom can come to the party. This means one person is coming to the party. You could also say both Jane and Tom are coming to the party. And this means that 2 people are coming to the party. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Amazing job with that test, and remember, it doesn't matter what your current level is. The only thing that matters is you're taking steps to improve your fluency, and you're doing that right now, so you should feel very proud. Now, I'm going to keep pushing you because I do want you to feel like you've really improved your English grammar by the end of this lesson. So I'm going to push you, and we're going to review more advanced grammar together, and we're going to do this by completing another test because tests are one of the best ways to really remember the information and to decide if you truly understand it. So let's continue on with a more advanced test, and this one is specific on verb tenses. Let's start the test now. So here's how this lesson will work. I'll show you a question and there'll be a blank, and you have to decide which option, which verb tense best completes the sentence. Now, I'll only show the question for a few seconds, so hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready, hit play, and I'll share the correct answer, and I'll explain why that answer is correct. My flight at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And the answer is, my flight leaves at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Now, both be and see are future verbs. And we need a future verb because we have the keyword tomorrow. So I know we're in the future. But we use the present simple in the future on one specific occasion, and that's with timetable events, with scheduled events. So transportation runs on a schedule. You get a ticket and it tells you the time. We can consider that a scheduled event. If you're going to a party, a wedding, a meeting in the future, and there's a scheduled event, you can simply say, my meeting starts at 2 o'clock next Tuesday. Question 2. She, 2 books so far this year. And the answer is, she has written 2 books so far this year. Your keyword here is this year. This year is still in progress. If it were complete, I'd say last year. She's written 2 books so far this year. So which verb tense am I using? The present perfect. Has written. We use the present perfect for actions that started in the past but are still in progress. So The books she has written, those are complete. Those 2 books are sitting on her shelf. But it's possible for her to write more books because the year is still in progress. The present perfect. Number 3, your eyes are red and puffy. And the answer is, have you been crying? Have you been crying? The verb tense here is the present perfect continuous. We need a continuous verb in this context because the focus is on the action. The focus is not on the result. The focus is on the action of crying. I want to emphasize the action, crying. Have you cried? The present perfect? That sounds awkward because there's no focus on the action. Question 4, if I'd quit. And the answer is, if I were you. Now, having I and were side by side may sound unnatural to you because the past form of the verb to be with the subject I is was, of course, right? I was tired. I was angry. You were tired. You were angry. She was tired. They were tired. But this isn't in the past simple. This is in the subjunctive. And the conjugation for the subjunctive verb is were for all subjects. I, you, he, she, it, we, they, were. Now, why does this question need the subjunctive? Because it's hypothetical. I'm not you. That's a hypothetical situation. If I were you, but I'm not you, I'm me, right? If I were younger, if I were older, if I were taller, if I were shorter, those are all hypothetical situations. Number 5, Dave, at the bank since 2009. And the answer is, Dave has been working at the bank since 2009. Now, we're using the present perfect continuous because the action started in the past and continues until now. When did Dave start working at the bank? Dave started working at the bank in 2009. Where does Dave work now, today? At the bank, right? So action that started in the past and continues until now. Question 6, Carmen has a hair appointment tomorrow. Carmen, her hair cut tomorrow. And the answer is, Carmen is getting her hair cut tomorrow. Now, the first sentence is just to provide context, so you know there's a scheduled event. And that's important because we use the present continuous, not the future simple. We use the present continuous when we're talking about a scheduled event in the future. Let's say I have a plane ticket to go to Australia in 5 years. Even though it's 5 years, a long time away, it's still a scheduled event. So I would say I'm going, present continuous, I'm going to Australia in 5 years because it's a scheduled event. Question 7, Samuel to Paris at least 5 times. And the answer is, Samuel has gone to Paris at least 5 times. Now, there's no indication of time in this example. There's no past reference, last year, last month, and there's no future reference either. So I know we're just talking about in general. And we use the present perfect, has gone. We use the present perfect to talk about life experience, the things we have done or haven't done in our life. And the reason is because our life is unfinished. Our life is in progress. It started in the past and it continues until now. So while we're alive and still living, we use the present perfect to talk about our life experience. Question 8. I think Sarah a promotion next year. And the answer is, I think Sarah will get a promotion next year. So my keyword here is next year, so I know I'm in the future. And notice the other keyword, I think. I think. We use the future simple to make predictions about the future. I think, Sarah. I don't know this 100%. It's a prediction. I think Sarah will get a promotion next year. Number 9, the client, by the time I checked my messages. The client had called by the time I checked my messages. This is the past perfect. The past perfect is used to talk about a past action, a completed past action that takes place before another past action. So on our timeline, we have 2 past events. The client called, I checked my messages. Now, we use the past perfect for the first past action, which is the older action. And we use the past simple for the second past action, which is the newer action on our timeline. The client had called by the time I checked my messages. And finally, question 10, I can't believe their baby by the time we get there. And the answer is, I can't believe they will have had their baby by the time we get there. Which verb tense is this? The future perfect. We don't use the future perfect too often, but it's still an important verb tense. We use the future perfect to talk about a completed action in the future. So let's say right now it's summer 2022 and the baby is due in the fall 2022. So right now in summer, it's a future action, right? But let's say I'm traveling to visit this couple in the winter of 2022. So I'm going to take my timeline from now and I'm going to change the timeline to winter 2022. And by winter 2022, the baby will have been born. So that action, although it's a future action now, when I change the timeline to winter 2022, the action will actually be in the past. So how'd you do with that test? You can share your score in the comments. And again, the purpose is to understand which areas you need to improve. So you can do that going forward. Now let's move on and review some very common grammar mistakes that I hear all students make. Beginner students, intermediate, advanced. I hear all students make these mistakes, but they make the student sound less fluent, more of a beginner level. So let's fix these mistakes right now. This sentence has one mistake in it. Feel free to hit pause, review the sentence, and try to identify the mistake. Now, these are real sentences, by real students of mine in the Finally Fluent Academy. I review example sentences for my students every single day, and these are the mistakes that they commonly make that we're correcting in this lesson. So do you know what this mistake is? The mistake is with track record. Now we have one of the best track record. So one of suggests that there's more than one. So the noun needs to be plural. The correct sentence is, this machine has one of the best track records in its group. Our next sentence, your assignment was late. Please explain why you failed to do. What's the mistake? The mistake is leaving out the object. You need to say, please explain why you failed to do it, and it represents the assignment, which was already said. Now, even though it's obvious you're talking about the assignment, you need an object here grammatically. Our next sentence, being a great communicator in all situations set you up for success. What's the mistake here? It's set you up. This is the wrong verb conjugation because we have this gerund expression, being a great communicator in all situations. Now, students will often look at that in all situations and they think that's what you need to conjugate the verb with, but it's not. It's the gerund expression, which is being a great communicator in all situations. And all of this is the subject, it. If you had to choose a subject for it, it would be the subject, it, or this. This sets you up for success. So you need to add an S to that verb because it's conjugated with it as the subject and it's the present simple. Now, if you had a noun, you would say this situation sets you up for success. That's the singular noun. Or you could say all situations. Now this is plural, it's they. All situations set you up for success. So with the noun, you conjugate it with singular or plural, but when the sentence starts with a gerund verb, being, it's conjugated as it. How about this sentence? I want to run something to you. Do you know what the mistake is? Well, technically, this is grammatically correct, but it's the literal meaning. I want to run something, maybe this iPad, I want to run something to you. Now, my student, when they use this, they were trying to use the expression to run something by or past someone, which is when you share an idea with someone in order to get feedback on that idea. So the mistake here is using the wrong preposition, which can entirely change the meaning because now it's not the expression, I want to share an idea to get feedback. Now it's, I want to literally run something to you, which is not what my student wanted to communicate. How about this sentence? Lately, I'm worried about my English test. What's the mistake? The mistake is using the wrong verb tense with lately or recently. And I hear this mistake a lot. Lately or recently means the action started in the past and it continues until now, and it might continue into the future. So what verb tense do we need? The present perfect continuous. Lately, I've been worrying about my English test. And you could also say recently, I've been worrying about my English test. Now remember that these are real mistakes that my real students in the Finally Fluent Academy have made. If you're that student who made this mistake, don't worry, because that's the whole purpose of taking lessons. I love it when my students make mistakes because it means I get to share something with them. I get to teach them something and they get to improve. So if you are also making these mistakes, don't worry. The important thing is that you're correcting them right now. And of course, if you want my personalized support, you can simply join the Finally Fluent Academy. You can check out the link in the description to learn more. Our next sentence, we need to stop problem in its tracks. What's the mistake? The student forgot the article. This is definitely the most common mistake I hear, even with my advanced students, is leaving out articles or not using articles correctly overall. So here, problem is a singular countable noun, so it needs an article. We need to stop the problem in its tracks. Now, you could also say we need to stop this problem in its tracks. You could even say we need to stop a problem in its tracks. But you need some article before a singular countable noun, unless it's one of the many nouns that are exceptions and don't take articles, which is why students struggle with articles so much, and which is why I help my students in the Finally Fluent Academy and provide this support, because the use of articles is so specific in English. Let's look at this sentence. Whenever a student joins the Finally Fluent Academy, they always introduce themselves, and one of the questions is, what do you do for a living? And a lot of students will reply back and say, I'm accountant. I'm accountant. What's the problem here? Again, it's articles. You need an article before a job title. So you would need to say, I'm an accountant. You need an because accountant starts with a vowel sound, so you need an instead of a. I'm an accountant. He's a developer. But if you were talking about a group, you could say, they're developers. They are developers. So notice in this case, there's no article, because the noun is plural, and you don't need an article with plural nouns. They're developers. So please, when you tell people what you do for a living, make sure you include the article. Otherwise, it will sound like your English is very beginner. Let's review this sentence. He has been jumping up and down for 2 hours. What's the mistake? This student wanted to use the present perfect continuous, but they didn't form it properly. So it's the incorrect structure. The correct structure is subject, have or has conjugated with the subject, which this student did, and then been, and then the verb in ing. So the student only made one mistake, but just one mistake with the structure of a sentence will make the entire sentence incorrect. The student used the verb in ing, being, when it should have been. So the correct sentence is, he has been jumping up and down for 2 hours. How about this one? You need to practice more your English lessons. What's the mistake? The mistake here is incorrect word order, because you don't practice more something, you practice something more. So the correct sentence is, you need to practice your English lessons more. You practice something, your English lessons, more. Now, if the something is obvious, you're talking about English lessons, you don't need to specify that. You could simply say, you need to practice more. So you can also use practice more, but without including the something. This is the final mistake, and it's the one that I hear the absolute most, even more than articles. This sentence is, the project doesn't go well. What's the mistake? So what verb tense is being used here? The sentence uses the present simple. But the present simple is for routine actions. And in this case, it's not a routine action. It's an action that's taking place right now. So the mistake is using the present simple when the present continuous should have been used. And this is by far the most common mistake that I hear advanced students make, the present simple. The correct sentence is, the project isn't going well. Isn't going. Is going, but in the negative. So we have our present continuous. Is going, is not going. The project isn't going well. Because we're talking about right now. Right now, the project isn't going well. You could absolutely use the present simple, but you would have to make the context appropriate. So it would need to be more of a routine action. Think of it as more of an in general. So you could say, our projects don't go well. So it's not necessarily the project right now, it's in general. In general, our projects don't go well. So just remember, right now, present continuous, in general, present simple. So were you making a lot of these mistakes? Don't worry if you were, because as I said, these are real mistakes that my real students make, and don't feel bad if you make them as well. The whole purpose of being here is to make mistakes, learn, improve, and grow. But let's find out if you truly know how to correct these mistakes. I am going to quiz you right now. Here are all the questions we just reviewed. Hit pause, and I want you to correct them, correct all the mistakes. And when you're ready to see the answers, hit play. So were you able to correct all of those mistakes? Let's find out. Here are the correct answers. Hit pause, review them, and when you're ready to continue, hit play. Amazing job, and think of how much grammar you have already learned in this masterclass. Now let's do something different. Let's work on your listening skills. You're going to improve your listening skills, you're going to improve your vocabulary, but you're also going to improve your grammar by understanding how to use your new vocabulary in correct sentences. So let's start the listening test right now. Here are your instructions for the entire lesson. First, I'm going to say a sentence 3 times, and you need to write down exactly what you hear word for word in the comments. Next, I'm going to explain exactly what I said, and I'll explain the pronunciation changes that take place in fast English, and I'll explain the expressions that I used as well. Are you ready? Here we go. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. I said, looks like we're back to square one. Did you get that one? Let's talk about the pronunciation changes. Notice the contraction, were. This is we are as a contraction, were. Now, notice how unstressed my pronunciation is. It sounds like were, not we're, were. This is how native speakers say it at a natural pace. We're back, we're back, we're back. We're back to, this sounds like to in real English, to. We're back to square one. We're back to square one. Now, what does this mean? To be back to square one. Well, square one on a board game is the beginning of a board game. So when you're back to square one, it means you're back to the beginning. And you're back to the beginning, the start, because you tried something and it didn't work. So you had a failed attempt and you have to try again. Looks like we're back to square one. It looks like we have to start again from the beginning because our first attempt failed. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I said, I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. First, let's talk about don't know. At a natural pace, this sounds like don't know, I don't know, I don't know, don't know, I don't know. I don't know if we can, notice here, we can trust. When can is the auxiliary verb, so it's not the main verb, we reduce this to kin, and it's very unstressed sound. I don't know if we can trust, if we can trust. And notice you hear trust more because it's the main verb, and can, which sounds like kin, is very short, can trust, can trust. I don't know if we can trust her. Now, here we can get rid of that H sound and it just sounds like trust her. But then you combine it to the word before, trust her, trust her, trust her. I don't know if we can trust her. This is a contraction for she is. She's pretty wishy-washy. What does wishy-washy mean? To be wishy-washy, this is when you have no clear or consistent ideas or decisions. We generally use this as an adjective to describe someone who changes their mind, changes the decision that they make frequently. So that's why you don't know if you can trust her, because she says she's going to come to your party or help you move, but because she's wishy-washy, tomorrow she might change her mind and say, oh, actually, I'm not coming to the party, or I'm not going to help you move. But then maybe the next day she changes her mind again and she does come to your party. She's wishy-washy. I don't know if I can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. I said, you got to give him props. He's a real trooper. You got to sounds like gotta. You gotta give him. Same thing we saw with her. Get rid of the H and it will sound like im. But you can combine it to the word before. Give him, give him, give him. You gotta give him props. This is a contraction. He's a real trooper. Now, what does this mean? To give someone props, this is when you give someone respect, credit, or recognition. So let's say a coworker of yours gets a really big client. Well, if you want to give your coworker credit or recognition, you could say, oh, we got to give him props. And then you can celebrate his big achievement. Let's talk about he's a real trooper. When you describe someone as a trooper, to be a trooper, this is someone who perseveres through hardship or difficulty. So they persevere, they keep going, they don't give up, they don't quit, they persevere. And this is why you gotta give him props, because he didn't quit, even though it was difficult, because he's a real trooper. Our next listening exercise, I'll say it 3 times. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. I said our successes and failures were writ large. Notice our. I did not pronounce this as our. I said R. A very reduced sound. R. Our successes. Our successes. Our successes and failures. Here, and, when and comes between two nouns or even two verbs, we reduce it to n. Our successes and failures. Coffee and tea, successes and failures. Our successes and failures were writ. Did you spell this starting with a R or with a W? The W is silent, just like in the word write. The W is silent. But in spelling, it's there. In pronunciation, it isn't. Writ large. What does writ large mean? This is an adjective that simply means to be very obvious. So our successes and failures were very obvious. Why is that? Perhaps we work for a public company, and when we fail, the general public knows we failed. But also when we succeed, the general public knows we succeeded because our successes and failures are writ large. They're very obvious. Are you ready for your last listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. I said, with a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. Did you hear that contraction? It'll. It will sounds like it'll. It's a very soft sound. It's easy to miss that will. It'll be. But without it, the sentence wouldn't be grammatically correct. If I said it be, that isn't correct. It will be. It'll be. It'll be good to go. Just like we saw before, to is a reduced sound, an unstressed sound, to. Good to go, to go. Good to go, good to go. What does this mean? With a few tweaks, tweaks are changes, small changes. So let's say you're writing a report and your boss or coworker wants you to remove this section and add this information. That would be a tweak, You need to make a small change, a tweak. With a few tweaks, with a few changes, it'll be good to go. When something is good to go, it means it's ready. And we use this in 2 contexts, ready to leave or ready to start doing something. So let's say you and your friend are going to the movies. Your friend could text you and say, good to go? Are you ready to leave? And in this case, it could be, are you ready to leave your house to meet me at the movies? Good to go? Good to go? We use this a lot as native speakers. In this context, it'll be good to go. Something can also be good to go in the context of it's ready to start doing something. For example, the new website will be good to go on Monday, which means the new website will be ready to start doing something, ready to start receiving visitors, ready to be available to the public. The new website will be good to go on Monday. Now, the new website as a subject is it. So if you already know you're talking about the website, you can say it'll be good to go. Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice these natural pronunciation changes and practice these new expressions. I'll say each sentence again 3 times in a row, and I want you to imitate my pronunciation. Try to say it just like me, get all those pronunciation changes. And I want you to say this out loud. So you can do this as many times as you like to practice. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. Looks like we're back to square one. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. I don't know if we can trust her. She's pretty wishy-washy. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. You gotta give him props. He's a real trooper. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. Our successes and failures were writ large. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. With a few tweaks, it'll be good to go. Amazing job improving your grammar and your listening skills, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So let's keep doing that. Let's do another fun exercise. This time we'll read a news article together and you'll improve all areas of your English, including your grammar. So let's read the article together right now.
First, I'll read the headline. This beloved beverage has gone viral, but you might want to think twice before drinking it. Did you notice how I pronounced beloved, beloved? There are 3 syllables, beloved. This is important because generally when you have a voiced sound, the ED is pronounced as a soft D and there's only 1 syllable at the end. So that means it would normally be beloved, beloved. And some native speakers do pronounce it as beloved, the 2 syllables, but it is more common to say beloved with the 3 syllables. Now let's talk about has gone viral. So the expression is to go viral. Here it's conjugated in the present perfect, but the verb is go, and that's what you would conjugate. When something goes viral, it means it becomes extremely popular on social media and usually happens in a short period of time. So fingers crossed that this video that you're watching right now goes viral. To help that, you can like the video. So hit the like button because that does help videos go viral. Okay, this beloved beverage has gone viral. So this beverage is now extremely popular on social media. But you might want to think twice before drinking it. Let's talk about this because we have might, want, and then the infinitive, to think. You might want to think. This is a great structure when you want to suggest something, but do it in a less severe way. Because notice this example, you must bring an umbrella. That sounds like a strong suggestion. If someone said that to me, I would 100% bring an umbrella. But if someone said, you might want to bring an umbrella, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So the article headline is not being very severe in its recommendation. And when you think twice about something, it's literally you should think about it and then you should think about it again. This is a common expression we use in English. So maybe your friend tells you, I want to quit my job. I hate my boss. You could reply back and say, you might want to think twice before quitting. So you're encouraging your friend. In this case, you're doing it in a gentle way because we use you might want to think twice. So you're encouraging your friend to think again, consider it again to make sure you're making the right decision. Now, don't worry about taking all of these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can look for the link in the description. Now let's continue and find out what this beloved beverage is. The beverage, which is just adding lemon juice to water. Okay, so that's the beverage. It's lemon water. Has gone viral. We already know what this means in recent years due to its supposed health benefits, including boosting hydration. Now here, boosting is used to say increasing hydration. Hydration is the amount of water you have. So I wrote that here for you, but the technical definition of hydration is your body's ability to absorb water. So you have the water in your body, but then being able to use that water as energy, that would be hydration. Boosting hydration, adding vitamin C, and being an alternative to sugar-filled options like soda or fruit juice. So these are the different health benefits, which is why this beverage, lemon water, has gone viral. Now let's talk about supposed. It's supposed health benefits. This is a very important word because when I read this, I know that, okay, this is what people say that lemon water can do, but it hasn't been proven. Then you can use supposed. It's supposed health benefits. So it lets me know that there's some doubt around these health benefits. We very commonly use supposedly, the adverb form. For example, she supposedly stole the money. Now, if I got rid of supposedly, she stole the money, this sounds like a fact. But if I add she supposedly, someone said it, but it hasn't been confirmed. So this is just using the adjective form. She's a thief. That sounds like a fact. She's a supposed thief. So that isn't a fact. It's just what some people have said. Now notice this pronunciation, supposedly. There's 4 syllables, but here it's just supposed. Supposed. So notice that pronunciation different. Let's continue on. So notice that pronunciation difference.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
The trendy drink is all the rage. Some students ask me what trendy means because this is in a lot of different articles. Trendy simply means popular right now. So I'll write that for you. Popular right now. And all the rage, well, this is an expression. So the expression is to be all the rage. So you describe something as all the rage. This expression also means to be popular right now. But remember, you describe something as it. So we could say short videos like the ones you watch on YouTube Shorts. I do those as well. Short videos are, because we need our verb to be conjugated, short videos are all the rage right now. They're very popular right now. But this could change in a week or a month. So it's very temporary as well. But according to some doctors and dentists, it could be wreaking havoc in your mouth. When something wreaks havoc, it means it causes a lot of problems and it sounds very strong. So causes severe problems. Now notice the pronunciation of wreak. Reek. There's no W, it's silent. So it starts on a R, and then the vowel is E, reek. Wreak, wreaking havoc, because it's conjugated in the present continuous because it's happening right now. And remember, this simply means causing severe problems. I'm not going to lie. I see a lot of effects on patients' enamel. Okay, so notice how I said doctors and dentists. So right now, who do you think is talking? Well, a dentist, because enamel is on your teeth. It's what protects your teeth, I guess. I'm not a dentist. So Google tells me that enamel is the hard, white, shiny substance that forms the covering of a tooth. So it just covers your teeth. That's enamel, but it's important. It protects your teeth. I know my dentist always talks about enamel whenever I visit the dentist. Now notice here, I read this as I'm not going to lie, but that is not how native speakers say this. This is an expression, we use it a lot, and the expression is, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So when you pronounce this, if you want to sound like a native speaker, don't say, I'm not going to lie. Say, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You need to take better care of your teeth. I'm not gonna lie. You need to improve your English. So we use this as an expression before we share advice or a recommendation that we think the other person should follow. I'll read this again and I'll read it like a native speaker. I'm not gonna lie, I see a lot of effects on patients' enamel, the covering on their teeth, from drinking lemon water, one dentist said. So this is one of the reasons why we need to think twice, or we might want to think twice before drinking lemon water. When I see this, remember this is the dentist talking. When I see this, I ask them, what happened? Do you have acid reflux? What's changed? And they can't figure it out. So they being the patient, this is a conversation between the dentist and the patient. So the patient can't figure it out. They don't know why their teeth are in a worse condition compared to their last visit. And then I ask, and then the dentist asks, do you drink lemon water in the morning? When they confirm, so they say, yes, I do. That's confirming. When they confirm, I ask, do you brush your teeth right after too? When they confirm, so again, when they say, yes, I do. Yes, I brush my teeth right after. I wrote that down for you so you can see the short form. Yes, I do. And the long form, which is the full sentence. Yes, I drink lemon water. Because when you do the long form, you don't need to include do. So you don't need to say, yes, I do drink lemon water. It's just, yes, I drink lemon water, or yes, I do. When they confirm, I now understand the problem with their teeth. The doctor explained that brushing your teeth after drinking lemon water is basically brushing acid into your teeth. I highlighted this adverb basically because there's another very common one that will help you sound more fluent, which is essentially. Lemon water is essentially brushing acid into your teeth. Now, both of these mean just like. So when you do this, when you brush your teeth after drinking lemon water, it's just like brushing acid into your teeth. So it's the most important characteristic. You can use basically, you can use essentially, it's a little more advanced. And then you can use just like, which is a more casual way, but a native speaker would absolutely use this and it sounds very fluent. Instead, so here we have instead to transition from what the person is doing, and then they want to suggest an alternative. So instead of brushing your teeth after drinking lemon water, so if you wanted to include that information, notice that sentence structure, instead of, and then a gerund. But because it's obvious, they just said it, you can just use instead. Instead, she suggested we brush our teeth before we drink it, it being the lemon water, or wait 20 to 30 minutes after. Alternatively, so this is another adverb you can use instead of instead. So this is, again, another alternative. But because we already use instead, you don't want to use it again, although essentially you could. Alternatively, we can rinse our mouths with water to wash away any acid and then brush. Finally, so this is a third alternative, but notice the different the different adverbs used because you don't want to use the same ones again and again. So now you have 3 new adverbs that you can use when you're suggesting another possibility. And I think it's obvious, but finally, you can only use this before the final possibility. I think that's obvious, but I'll just say it. Finally, you can drink the lemon water with a straw to avoid teeth contact. She noted that this technique can be useful when drinking coffee too. I highlighted teeth contact because this is the noun form. To avoid something, which is teeth contact because of the enamel, right? But if you want to use a verb, you could. Just remember you need a gerund verb to avoid contacting your teeth. So it means the same thing, it's just a different sentence structure. She noted that this technique can be useful when drinking coffee too. I've heard that coffee is very acidic and can be harmful to your teeth. And I've heard it also stains your teeth, so causes your teeth to not be very white. So you can try this alternative. You can drink your coffee with a straw. And that's the end of the article. So what I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. This beloved beverage has gone viral, but you might want to think twice before drinking it. The beverage, which is just adding lemon juice to water, has gone viral in recent years due to its supposed health benefits, including boosting hydration, adding vitamin C, and being an alternative to sugar-filled options like soda or fruit juice. The trendy drink is all the rage, but according to some doctors and dentists, it could be wreaking havoc in your mouth. I'm not going to lie. I see a lot of effects on patients' enamel from drinking lemon water, one dentist said. When I see this, I ask them, what happened? Do you have acid reflux? What's changed? And they can't figure it out. And then I ask, do you drink lemon water in the morning? When they confirm, I ask, do you brush your teeth right after too? When they confirm, I now understand the problem with their teeth. The doctor explained that brushing your teeth after drinking lemon water is basically brushing acid into your teeth. Instead, she suggested we brush our teeth before we drink it or wait 20 to 30 minutes after. Alternatively, we can rinse our mouths with water to wash away any acid and then brush. Finally, you can drink the lemon water with a straw to avoid teeth contact. She noted that this technique can be useful when drinking coffee too.
You are doing such an amazing job. Think of everything you've learned so far. Now we're coming to the end of the masterclass, so let's relax. Let's do something more relaxing. I am going to share 6 websites that will help you improve your fluency. These websites are 100% free to use, and these are websites that I've personally used and that I recommend to my students. So let's review the first website right now. Now, all of these websites that I'm going to share are ones that I've personally used myself and I recommend to my students because I know they get amazing results. And the first website is called Meetup, meetup.com. This is the website that you need to find native speakers because so many students want to know how they can find native English speakers. Well, we're everywhere in the world, and it's really easy to find us if you have the right resource like Meetup.
So here we are on the website Meetup. Now you should know in English, the phrasal verb to meet up is when you meet people socially. So that's where the name of the website comes from because the purpose of this website is to find other people who share your common interest or activity. Now you need to enter your specific neighborhood And this website might not exist in your country. So sorry if it doesn't, but don't worry, the other resources likely will. So for the neighborhood, I'm just going to pick a random example. I used a specific area of Chicago because Chicago is a very big city. So put in the specific area, most likely your zip code or postal code, and then it will show you all the events. Now the events will be totally random. Here's a single mixer meetup. So if you're single and you want to meet other single people, this is the meetup for you if you live in Chicago. But there'll be things like data monetization, mystery thriller virtual book club. That could be an interesting one. Book clubs are great if you want to read books with other native speakers. But of course, you're here for learning English. So what you can do is you can use the search filter and then you can search your specific interest. So for the interest, I put English language, and then you can see all of these language exchanges. Now notice there are 2 language exchange, so people who want to exchange Spanish for English or French for English. Now this is just one option to find a specific language exchange, and then you can click into this and then find out when they meet, where they meet. But remember my example of a book club. You can just find something you're interested in. If you're interested in books, well then join a book club and you'll interact with other native English speakers and talk about your specific interest, which is books. So you can search for books, you can search for gardening, you can search for rafting or karate or biking or whatever your specific interest is. And then you'll find other people who want to do that as well, and you'll be doing it in English. So Meetup is a great resource.
Our next website is Reddit. You probably know this website, right? But did you know that there's a subreddit for language exchanges? So Reddit Language Exchanges is our next website, and like Meetup, this website will also help you find native speakers. Again, we're everywhere. You just need the resources to connect with us.
Here I am on Reddit. Now, Reddit is a general website where people discuss things based on certain topics. So you have to search Reddit to find the topic that you're interested in. So the one that you might be interested in is language exchange. So you can see here, I'm in the subreddit for language exchange. And then if you look here, you'll notice that real people are posting that they want a language exchange. So this person here is an English speaker and they want to learn Russian. So if you speak Russian, well, then you can partner with this person and then you can just reply back to this post. You'll have to create an account, but it's free. And then you can just reply back. Now, this is an ad, just ignore it. And then this person is offering Mandarin, seeking English. Well, you're seeking English. You want English, okay? That's what seek means. So you can create your own post and say offering and then your native language and then seeking English. Now notice this person said fluent or native. So they're saying I will do an exchange with a native speaker or a non-native speaker as long as they're fluent. So you have that option as well. So I encourage you to look through here. Now don't just reply to people's posts. I want you to create your own post as well. And then people are going to reply to you and say, oh, let's exchange. And then you can set a date and time and start your language exchange. You'll practice your English with native speakers or fluent speakers. You'll make new friends. You'll have a lot of fun in the process. So you can use Reddit absolutely free.
Our next website is Youglish. Youglish, which is a combination of YouTube and English into Youglish. This is an amazing resource to help you improve your listening skills and pronunciation and vocabulary and grammar at the same time.
Here we are on Youglish. I love sharing this resource with my students. Now you can search for a specific word, let's say a word that is difficult for you to pronounce. So let's take the word hypotheses, because this is one I recently taught to my students. So you simply enter your word and then you look below and look, there are 2,886 clips, so portions of a YouTube video where that speaker uses the word hypotheses. Now it has the transcript as well. So I put this on mute so you won't hear it, but let's go to the next clip so we can go see the next clip here. So our next one, here's our word hypotheses. So you'll hear this person. Now you can try another one. And you'll hear this person. So of course, these people have completely different accents, styles of speech. So it's excellent for improving your listening skills and hearing many different styles of speech. And you can choose your accent preferences at the top. I just put all, but let's say you live in Australia, so you really want to get comfortable with the Australian accent. Well, then you can specify Australia for the accent. Now you can also enter an entire phrase so you can hear how all the sounds are combined together. So there are 346 different people saying the expression hit the nail on the head, which is also one I recently taught. So you learned it from me, but that was my pronunciation. So now you can hear 346 other speakers pronounce this, get comfortable with different accents, different styles of speech, and improve your listening skills. You will love using Youglish.
Our next website is called Busy Teacher. This is a website that I personally use when I used to teach in classrooms many years ago, and I was very busy. But just because the website is for teachers, it doesn't mean that you as a student can't use it. So let's talk about Busy Teacher.
Here I am on Busy Teacher. So these are prepared lessons that teachers like me can use with our students. But you can download and use these lessons to teach yourself these concepts. So here's a lesson on prepositional phrases. So you can come in here, but you can just look at the top ones, or you can search for something specific. Maybe you want to find a lesson plan on articles. So here you'll see the different lesson plans. But what I love most about this is that with all the lesson plans, there are different exercises for you to do. So it doesn't just teach you the rules for articles, it gives you the practice, because practice is so incredibly important. Now, this is an exact lesson that I've used with my students. It's a game, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But it's specific on articles. So you play this really fun game, but all the questions test you on articles. And it's just a PowerPoint presentation. You can download it absolutely for free. So here's a quick view of what it looks like. So there are 4 options and you have to decide which one should begin with the. And then as you answer each question, you get to go higher and higher. So the purpose is to get to $1 million. Every student I've played this game with has absolutely loved it, but the point is you're practicing articles and learning at the same time. So you will absolutely love using Busy Teacher.
Our next website is BBC Learning English. This one you might know because I find a lot of students use BBC as a news source. But did you know there is a section of BBC specific for helping you learn English? Well, let's review that.
Here we are on BBC Learning English. Now, as you can see at the top, I know it's probably quite small for you. I'll make it bigger. As you can see at the top, they have complete courses. They have grammar lessons, easy, medium, hard. They have pronunciation, vocabulary. You can even learn English with the news, which is something that I do with my students as well. Obviously, BBC is a news website, so it makes sense they use their own articles, and I use a lot of BBC articles to help my students as well. And they even have more categories. Business English, for example, you can test your level. There is so much you can do on BBC Learning English. So absolutely explore this website. All the lessons are very high quality.
And finally, Open Text Library. This is great for more academic or professional purposes because this is a resource that shares textbooks and books and manuals all for free. But the authors have given permission to share these resources, so it's a completely safe site to use.
Here we are on Open Textbook Library. So remember, this one is more academic, is more professional. But if there's a specific area, a field that you're really interested in, let's say marketing, you can find textbooks, guides, user manuals on that specific topic. So here's one on e-marketing, the essential guide to online marketing. So, or introducing marketing, legal aspects, principles of marketing. So if you want to expand your vocabulary on the topic of marketing and you want to make sure that the information you're learning is accurate, correct, professional, this is a great resource. And everything is completely free. It's open, which means the authors have given permission for you to download this. So you can download it as a PDF, or you can even have it as an ebook. You can read it online. So remember, this is a full textbook. Most likely you're not going to read the textbook from start to finish. But again, if you want to expand your vocabulary, improve your reading skills, and you're focused on more of a technical or professional interest, then this is the place for you. So you can search any area that you're interested in, or you can just browse the subjects. They have different categories to see what they might have. Let's say you're studying to be an accountant. Well, then here, principles of managerial accounting. If that is in your field, well, then you can have the entire textbook, or you can look at certain sections as well. So it's a great technical or professional resource.
Congratulations, you did it. You completed the masterclass. You should feel very proud right now. Do you want me to make more masterclasses? If you do, put let's do it so I know you're ready for another lesson. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it, or you can look for the link in the description. And why don't you keep improving your English with this lesson right now?